Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the keys to the game for the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Kentucky Wildcats. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into the team keys for the game. Number one key is to play bully ball. So Kentucky wants to try to play a very physical brand of football, but Tennessee is the bigger, stronger, and faster team. We need to establish that dominance early on in this game and try to take away any confidence that Kentucky may have earned in their bye week game planning for Tennessee. Next key is to watch for trickery. So like we just said, Kentucky has had a full bye week to get ready for this game. They're usually a very conservative football team, but do not be surprised if they come out with some trick plays, onside kicks, going for it on fourth down on special teams, things like that, double passes. We have to keep a close eye out for that in this game because I'm telling you, Kentucky's coaches know that they are physically outmatched in this game and they don't have a very explosive offense. So they're going to try to keep the chains moving and get some quick and easy points any way that they can. All right, so third key is to focus on fundamentals. This is going to be an old school game, a whole lot of run the football straight at you. We just have to wrap up, tackle, get off blocks, block well, get into our run fits well. Just the small things from a fundamental perspective. And as long as we can do that, we should be successful in this game. Fourth key is no stupid penalties. Now I'm talking about pre-snap and post-whistle penalties. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit loud out there, especially to start this game off. So have to minimize false start penalties. That's number one for sure. And then on the flip side of it, this game is probably going to get a little bit chippy. Kentucky's players have a tendency to kind of go a little bit past that whistle, and they've had a few personal fouls also in previous games. So Tennessee players have to be smart and do not let Kentucky get you into a stupid penalty match. Fifth key is to play 60 minutes. Tennessee hasn't done this all season. Okay, we have not put together a full 60-minute game this entire season. We came kind of close to it last week, but we just didn't do a great job in that third quarter of that Alabama game, or really in the fourth quarter either. We've got to put together a full 60-minute game and get that confidence moving forward that we can play 4 full quarters and carry that momentum into the rest of this season. Now for the keys to the game for Tennessee's offense. Number one is going to be to establish the run early. So like we talked about earlier in the week, Kentucky likes to play a 3-man defensive line like what we've seen for the past couple of weeks. Biggest differences are Kentucky is not as physically imposing or as physically dominant as either one of the two teams that we just played up against. So we should be able to have our way with Kentucky. Something else is that Kentucky really only plays a 3-3-5. There's no real 3-4s to be seen. Now what they do try to do is bring a safety down and mimic what looks like a 3-4, but it's just not going to be as strong because that outside guy playing it outside linebacker there is a safety. He's a safety linebacker hybrid, but he's really there more for pass coverage and to kind of take up blocks. So this is pretty much going to be a light box the entire game. We're not going to see a very heavy box. What we've got to do is we've got to be able to run early. Something else that Kentucky likes to do is drop 8. Okay, we've got to get them to dedicate more people to the line of scrimmage to open up some passing lanes for Joe Milton and this wide receiver core. Second key kind of goes along these same lines, and that is to take what is given. Again, Kentucky is going to play coverage. They're going to drop a lot of people, and they're going to try to make us dink and dunk them all the way down the football field. They want to try to speed this game up as much as possible, and what I mean by that is they want to take as much time off of that clock as possible. They want to try to limit the opportunities that Tennessee's going to have to put up points. So we have got to be methodical in our drives, and we've got to sustain our drives, and we've got to take what they're giving to us and not try to force plays into coverage and give them easy interceptions. Third key is something that we've kind of touched on before for this entire team, and that is to win with talent. You probably hear me say this a lot. We are the more talented team by a long shot. We are a lot more talented than Kentucky is. What I mean by this is, okay, in situations where we are taking what they're giving us, if it's just like a little dump off pass, we've got to make people miss, right? So it might be a dump off pass that's right at the line of scrimmage. We've got to get 5, 6, 7 yards out of that because we're faster than them, okay, because we're stronger than them. And we've got to consistently keep on doing that. We just have to be a better football team. I don't think this is a game where we have to do a whole lot of trickeration or, have any, advanced X's and O's. Just line up, play football, and be the better football team. Fourth key is to convert on third down and in the red zone. Now, we talked about this last week as well. This is going to be a really, really big deal because, again, Kentucky wants to take as much time off of this clock as possible. May not have as many opportunities to score points. So every single time that we get one, we've got to sustain drives. And then if we get into the red zone, we've got to come up with some plays where we can score points, okay? This is not so much on our players as it is our coaches. Obviously, the players have to execute, but we've got to do a better job of spreading defenses out and having the option to be able to run right at them or even still pass it. So I would like to see us get out of that bunch formation that we keep getting into on, fourth down situations and goal line situations and things like that. We have got to do a better job of being more creative, and I want to see more of that out of Coach Heupel and out of Coach Halsey in this game. Fifth key is to protect the football. Now, we talked about this earlier too, okay? All I'm talking about here is, if the defense is dictating or, if there's nothing there for us to have, let's not force the football into coverage. Also, running backs have to do a really good job of holding on to that football. Kentucky is going to try to make plays, okay? They are at home. This is a fan base that hates Tennessee, so they're going to be fired up, and they're going to, some of these guys are going to be trying to play hero ball. Protect that football. Don't get sloppy, okay? I feel like we do have this mindset that we are a lot better than this team, and we are, but we've got to play like, we're playing up against an Alabama or somebody like that, okay? We've got to come into this game focused, and we have to take care of that football. Again, we probably will not have a whole lot of opportunities to score in this game. So we've got to sustain drives and take care of that football all the way down the field and put up points every single time. All right, now for the keys to the game for Tennessee's defense. Number one is going to be to find number one. Okay, I'm talking about Ray Davis. He's their biggest playmaker on offense, and most of their offensive production is going to go through him. Now, obviously, we've got to stop him in the running game, and we've also got to stop him from catching the football out of the backfield. And like we talked about earlier in this game, we've got to watch for those trick plays. Do not be surprised if there's some double passes or something to him. Everyone has got to just do their job, okay? Kentucky is going to pull offensive linemen around. They're going to try to run the football right at Tennessee. This is going to be a really, really critical game for Tennessee just to get into our run fits, okay? Maintain our gaps at the line of scrimmage, and let's come up and let's make tackles, okay? We've got to play fast. We've got to play physical, and we've got to, at all costs, somebody's got to be on number one on every single play. We need to have someone dedicated to him on every single play in some way, shape, form, or fashion. The football is going to Ray Davis, okay? Find him, and if we can slow him down, shut him down, we're going to pretty much slow down and shut down Kentucky's entire offense. Second key is something that we just touched on briefly, and that is to fit the run with strength and speed. Okay, so again, Kentucky is coming downhill at us, and they want to try to play bully ball, but we have got to come and fill those gaps with strength, okay? We've got to blow those offensive linemen up, or, we have to beat them with speed. You can tell what Kentucky is trying to do. You can tell what the play is going to be. This is a very, kind of an old school offense where you can read that tight end and you can pretty much tell if it's a run or a pass right off the rip almost every single time. So we should know what play is coming. Let's get there and let's get there quick. Okay, if we're wrong, let's be wrong at 100 miles an hour. I say this all the time, but it's really, really critical. Let's not get into this standing back and, doing too much of this reading stuff and, getting thrown off. Let's just go out and make plays. We've got to play fast. We've got to play physical in our run fits. And again, if we do that, we will slow down this offense a ton, and we'll force them into trying to pass that football. And that's not something that they're great at. Okay, and that brings us to our third key, which is to stay awake in the secondary. Like we talked about, Kentucky is going to run the football, run the clock out, all of that, and then they're going to go play action. So you've got to stay awake in that secondary. You can't get lulled to sleep because, you may not be getting very much action in that run game. If our front seven plays the way that they are supposed to, those running backs should not be getting to that third level, okay? So our secondary really shouldn't be too involved in this running game. At least our corners shouldn't be. Safeties probably will have to be. All right, star guy probably will have to be. But our corners especially have got to stay awake. All right, we don't have Haddon playing in this game. He's out for the rest of the season, and that's a huge blow to this team. But we still have veterans. We still have people who know how to play corner and who have played at a high level this season. We just have to make sure that we are doing our job on every single play, and we can't come down and vacate what we are supposed to be doing to help that front seven out. Okay, we've got to do our job first, and that means staying awake in the passing game. Now, fourth key works off of this. Okay, whenever they do try to go play action, or whenever that football is thrown, we've got to go find that football. Okay, fully expecting for our front to get pressure on their quarterback, and if they do, there's going to be some errant passes. Okay, Kentucky's offensive line is not great. I feel like we have a whole lot of areas that we're going to win at on that line of scrimmage and passing situations. Once that pressure gets there, we have got to be Johnny on the spot, looking for that football, finding it, and making catches. We need turnovers. We need that football as much as possible because, again, I'm going to keep on saying this, we may not get as many opportunities. We've got to give that football back to our offense, or we need to score on defense. Find that football, whether it's on the ground, whether it's in the air, something that we absolutely have to do in this game. Last key is to tackle. Ray Davis is a very powerful runner, okay? He does not go down easy. He runs really hard. I actually really like his game. But we've got to come up, we've got to tackle him with multiple people. He's almost like a little bowling ball type of a guy, almost puts you in the mind of maybe like a poor man's Travis Henry, okay? He's kind of like that. He's, a small, compact guy. He's a shorter, compact guy, and he can most definitely make things happen with his legs if we don't take his legs away from him. And I don't mean to injure him, but I mean we have to tackle his legs, okay? And we have to have multiple people in on these tackles. We have to wrap up. We can't just let him run free, or they're going to run for a lot of yards on us. I saw them do that to Florida, and a lot of what he got in that Florida game was yards after contact. Got to come up, got to make tackles. All right, now for my score prediction for this game, okay? The game is at Kroger Field at 7 o'clock. All right, it's going to be kind of chilly out there. It's going to be pretty cold. And, this game is just going to favor whoever can put up the most points, obviously. It's going to be whatever offense shows up, or, whatever defense can kind of slow things down. I really feel like Tennessee has got a pretty big challenge to slow down and stop Kentucky's run game. It's not going to be as easy as a lot of people think, okay? They just stick with it, It's going to be a very physical game. If Tennessee comes out and imposes their will early, okay, I think that the defense will have success overall. We can limit Kentucky's running game, and we can limit Ray Davis. I know that we're going to be keen on him. We have to watch out for those trick plays, stupid penalties, things like that. Now, on offense, we most definitely have got to sustain drives. No stupid turnovers, all right? No dumb pre-snap penalties. Let's just play hard, ball out, run that football, take what they give us in the passing game, and let's be the better athletes and go out there and take what is given and get just a little bit more on top of that, okay? Want to see Joe Milton step up the way that he did last week up against Alabama. Use your legs, Joe, okay? These guys are going to sit back and do a whole lot of, weird drop 8, make them pay for it, get 5 to 6 yards a carry, run these guys over, okay? Be physical. We've got to be physically dominant in this game. And if we can do all of those things, I do believe that Tennessee is going to run away with this game. The spread right now is at 3.5. Over-under is 51.5 points. I think that Tennessee wins this game by a little bit more than that. I'm going to say Tennessee by 10. Okay, I'm going to say Tennessee puts up 34 and Kentucky gets 24. And that is good enough to cover the over-under. All right, so y'all leave y'all score predictions down in the comments section. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.